Well, hello, everybody. It's been a hot minute, as the youngsters say, which has never made sense to me because, oh my God, a hot minute would be like really fast. I hope I didn't just show off the back of my head because I am experiencing 100% massive bedhead. So if I gave you a glimpse, my apologies. Yeah, welcome back. Finally, oh my God. Okay, so I haven't been chatty in forever, but I'm particularly chatty tonight because I just watched my Mariners lose number 2 game to the Toronto Blue Jays in Seattle. What the F? Oh my God, they won 2 in Toronto. And what's so bizarre to me is that I didn't give a crap about the games in Toronto. I knew we'd lose them both. And we won them both. So then there's this sense of, yay! And now we come back to Seattle and we lost 2. The good news is, toast in my mouth, sorry. The good news is we have one more game, and so in Seattle. So we would like to win this next game. I'm sorry, this seems odd. It's an odd angle, but anyways, I think my computer is perched up too high, so I feel like I'm. Anyways, yeah. So third game in Seattle. We'll see how we do. I hope we do well. Okay, so anyways, let's get to it. So I had my big adventure. I will post that eventually. It was such an amazing journey in so many ways. There were so many things that I did absolutely perfectly in terms of preparation and everything else. And there's so many things that I would do differently next time around. It was once again, I come on here and my nose starts running. Sorry. It must be when I talk. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. Anyways, yeah. So it was a very successful, very fun trip, and I made it back in 30 days, across the country and back 30 days, and I was able to see Ichiro in Cooperstown, and bomb up to Montreal that basically the same day to see my nephew defend his dissertation at McGill University, which he did very well. And the best I can say is that I understood all of it. So he takes after his mom and dad. He's a good teacher. I should show off my mug. This is my mug from Smith Cafe in Quebec City. I think they have others, but there's Focus. They have 3 in the old town. I love their coffee and I love their mugs. Anyway, so I had a great trip. Everything went well. The weather became more of a factor than I anticipated, and I never thought that it would be a concern. My biggest concern was wondering if my van would start, but Meru 2, Meru the sequel, performed beautifully from day 1 to day 30. Pressed the button and it always started and just did everything it was supposed to do. And then, but the other weather, wind, major weather in Wisconsin. What goes on there? The whole time I was there, I kept saying, I don't know what I expected in the heartland. I really don't, but North Dakota was stunning, except for the wind, but it was absolutely stunning. It was beautiful to drive through, and I was so happy to have finally gotten there. Montana, beautiful. I will move there. I told my neighbor, she mentioned to me that her and her husband love Montana too, and I said, well, okay. I mean, the only stipulation is if we both move there, we have to be within, a 45-minute horseback ride of each other. because that's the only way to get around. And so they're Montana, and then myriad other states and stuff. But I think the state that shocked me the most was Indiana. Absolutely beautiful, and then just that whole. I'm not doing this in any kind of order because I don't have it in my head in order, but Indiana, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, there's one else, Minnesota. All of those, they're beautiful. And every time I sat in you drive in the van, and I'd land somewhere, and I'd be like, I could live here, which is what I say wherever I go. But then I stepped out of the van, and it was like, boom, it's like walking into a shower. It was hot. It was humid. Minnesota grows some big frickin' mosquitoes, I'll tell you that. So it was crazy. Anyways, I'm going to do a detailed thing. I've recorded a few kind of recaps, and they just, I don't know. I didn't like them. So I didn't bet. They're still sitting in the queue, but I don't know if I'll post them or not. But at some point I will. So I have a few housekeeping notes. Not that I've ever been a gigantic promoter of selling tarot decks, because I keep all of mine at this point. But I feel like I've been on kind of the buy more bandwagon by posting links in whatever down below. And I'm going to stop doing that. I will never not mention the tarot deck or the authors involved or where I think you can find them. But in this day and age, a Google search should get you there to wherever they are and if they're available. And that's what we're going to do from now on. Because I am not a tarot deck seller. I don't want to be part of that machine. And I'm not saying that those that are on here doing that are part of the machine, but it's beginning to feel like it. It may be that I just have a lot of decks and I don't need any more. Of course, acquiring tarot decks has very little to do with need, because if it did, I would just have one, and I don't. But it has all to do with want. And I think tarot deck creators and folks like Llewellyn and US Games and Red Rock Pool and Red Wheel and all of those folks are hearing us and beginning to produce decks that are not only and know that we're willing to pay more for quality. And we are. But in the end, it's like, I think they've got our number. They certainly have mine. I will tell you, I'm going to talk about 8 decks today that I've acquired just really a couple of Kickstarters, and a couple that I just saw that intrigued me that I wanted to get, because tarot decks are one of these, it's like a deck of cards. You want to put your hands on them. And you can't do that anywhere, or at least not in my town. You can go and look at the box, and you can go on YouTube and look at that, but it's still not the same as physically touching and knowing the tactile experience of that card or that deck. Is it this size or is it this size? Is it chunky or is it hard to flex or not? Or is it the nice soft linen, easy to shuffle? All those things. You want to kind of experience that up front. And the price, personally for me, has not been, what's the word I'm looking for? Not put up a gate to stop me from ordering one that I'm really, really curious about. But the bottom line is that I will say, honestly speaking, of all the decks that I order, 30% are probably hits, and the other 70 are misses. Now, of that 70, there's probably 80% that I'm intrigued by and so thankful that I have in my library of tarot decks, and not opposed to having. But there's that other, what did I just say, 90%, 80%? There's that other, whatever's left over, chunk of decks that I wish I'd never purchased. And not be, for standard reasons. The cardstock sucks. The images are boring, or too small for me to read. It's not like I'm blind, but first of all, shout out to a lot of the decks that are coming out now that are actually have fonts that you can read, because Jeebus, anyways, I'm ranting now, sorry. But anyways, so yeah. But they apparently have my number, because I have 8. It's really funny. I sat here like 4 days ago and I thought, I am down to 4 decks. I love these 4 decks. And these are going to be my 4 decks through winter. And then the mail came. And suddenly I have 5. And then the mail came the next day. And suddenly I have 7. And then somebody did a thing on YouTube. And I was like, I haven't looked at that deck in a long time. I have it somewhere. I go rummage around. I find it. And suddenly now I have 8. So it's like, it's an addiction. It truly is. Anyways, let's start at the beginning. I was going to shout out somebody, and I can't think who it was. Anyways, okay, so let's start. I don't even have these in order. I have them in their boxes. Let's see, where do I want to start? I'm going to start with this one because this was an incredible surprise to me, and I can't remember who showed it to me originally. It might have been Simon at the Hermit's Cave, maybe, or somebody else. I don't know. But so this is the front of the box. Tarot deck, complete 78 cards. I mean, it looks like it should come from Temu, whatever that's called. It doesn't. It comes from a company called, I think they're on Etsy, called Witchy Cauldron, made by Witchy Cauldron. And here's the back, and you can read it if you want. I think I ordered it because I saw that it came in, quote, a linen cardstock, and the price was like $13.99 or $15. It was incredibly inexpensive, very value oriented, and I thought, but it was RWS, so it's not like a fake or anything, or what am I trying to say, whatever they do to that. But yeah, so it just says copyright 2022, published in the United States, witchycauldron.com. Illustrations by Pamela Cole Smith with guidance from Arthur Edward Waite. First published, William Writer, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, it comes in a tuck box without a thing, but it's a sturdy tuck box, so that's nice. These are the backs. Basic, simple, very fall-like. I don't know if this is coming through on camera, but it's kind of a rusty color. But the cards themselves have a little bit of fun attached to them. Not crazy fun. These are completely out of order. But they're not, the colors are not garish. It is I don't think I could get on camera, but it's the best way I can describe it is a very fine linen stock. It's, the cardstock it's got a lot of snap to it. It feels good. I don't know if it has a core or not, but it's got that very fine, what do they call it? Kind of an air. There's a name for it now, air or something, because it's not really linen, but air bubbles, or I don't know what they put in them. It's got a little bit of texture to it, so it's easy to handle. Sorry, I'm not used to this camera. And easy to shuffle. The colors are good. They're not garish. They are, sorry about the little bit of a glare. They are slightly, I will say I would call them still a matte finish, but there is a bit of a sheen to them on both sides. It's not just one side. So obviously very RWS. So I'm showing you, I want to get past these and into, the only thing that they've really done is had some fun with the majors, which is adding some interesting stuff in the background, which has been really, really fun. I have a few other decks that are like that, and I really like that. The only downside of this deck is I wish they'd done that on all the cards, but they've really made the majors stand up beautifully. And look, she's not nude. They've given her some shells. This may be a good deck. I didn't even notice that now. Oh no, here's the lovers, and they're clearly not covered, so I won't show them. And then the aces, of course, are also given a little dramatic style of background. Trying to get the glare off of them without just disrupting them too much. Anyways, so you get the idea. They just are really fun, and they shuffle like freaking perfect cards. It's one of my favorite. Oh, it's probably, well, that's okay. I always make these for adults. So, but yeah, they're really cool, and I want to say, I know they're less than $20. I think they're like $17.99. You know, and look for like a coupon maybe on Etsy or something if you can find one. Because yeah, if you're just starting out and you're like off put by $30, $25 decks, indie decks, $50, $80, stuff on eBay, $150. Get this, Witchy Cauldron. It is a great freaking deck. I'm very picky about cardstock. I'm picky about images. I am absolutely an RWS fan. That is my sole style of deck. And this one has made it into the top 8 just almost immediately. And I have a lot of RWS decks. This one is just awesome. So I can't recommend it more highly. It's 5 stars, 10 stars. Next, what's next? So this one I don't know where I found this one from, but it's called the Sacred Witch Tarot and it's by Weispell. Weispell just throws these decks out without saying a word to anybody, except on occasion they will. I do have a beef with them. I think I mentioned this a long time ago as I ordered a deck or did a Kickstarter with them. And as I recall, I was very happy with the deck. But I was very unhappy with the fact that I had not received the deck while they had put it on their website for $10 less than I paid for it on Kickstarter. Now, I know Kickstarter is about kickstarting a thing, but I think in the end, if you are buying a deck or supporting the creators and putting money down for a deck, that you should not see it on the web before you get the deck for $10 less. I'm just saying. That's just poor timeline management, in my opinion. If it was a month later, fine. Call it a sale. But a month before I get it, that's a problem in my book. Anyways, nonetheless, I love Weispell decks. I've loved most of them. And this one, as I said, it comes with a nice chunky guidebook. People I know, little, not large, just FYI, not large pictures of the cards. So you're not getting detailed stuff about the cards, but you're getting quite a bit of info on them. So that's kind of nice. It's that, let me put it near the microphone. It's that lovely sound. These are the backs. Reversible, very fun. And it's just an interesting deck. Again, I haven't put these in order. I'll just give you a sample of the cards. God, I wish this wasn't so. How can I do this without getting so much glare? But it's a fun. They're fun. I like the artwork. I think it's interesting. It's not. I was gonna say almost. It kind of bleeds into cartoonish, but it's not cartoonish in a fun way. It's just. I like it a lot. Am I getting these close enough so you can see? I'm trying to. 4 of Pentacles. This isn't. Anyways, I'll just show these briefly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5 or 6. 6 Pentacles. I can't count either. Anyways, it's a really fun deck. It's a little, image-wise, it's a little dark, and I don't mean dark in metaphorically. I mean dark physically. And I wish they would lighten it up a little bit in future printings, which they might do. So that would be fun. Speaking of which, I feel a rant coming on. Oh, here, I love this card. Look at that, Ace of Swords. Is that not awesome? Awesome, not awesome. It's very awesome. And the tower is also pretty awesome. I love that lightning bolt. Anyway, so I'll put those away. But check them out. This is a fun deck. What was I going to rant about? Okay, so I ordered early on, the, what was it called? The Witches something or other. Witches, Garden of Witches. It was a Llewellyn deck. And they had a misprint. They had misnumbered Justice and the Wheel, I think. Just had, made the Wheel 11 and Justice 10. I think the book was right, but the cards were just wrong. And it was no big deal. Personally, it didn't bother me. I liked the deck. It was fun. But then they came out with the new one. And I was like, well, you know, I don't mind the one that's misprint, but I would like one that isn't. So I ordered one from, I think, Amazon. It came and it was completely miscut. It was fixed. The cards were correct, but you couldn't shuffle. Well, you could shuffle it, but it was like, you know, chunky, like a chunky shuffle. And I was like, what is this? Because I've never experienced that with Llewellyn. And it was, but I shuffled it funny. I, you know, straightened them out, tapped them on and realized that they were completely miscut. And when I put them back in order, you could see where the miscut was. It was just probably just, you know, one set of sheets, and then they moved on and brought another set of sheets and cut them, and the two got combined. It was just bad. There's another company that does that. My Austero Tarot did that. It was bad. I mean, it was like an eighth of an inch difference. It was crazy how bad it was. Anyways, so these were unacceptable to me, and so I sent them back, and I said why. And then I thought, well, should I try to order this again? You know, am I going to get the next deck that was in the queue, or am I going to get one that's way beyond the miscuts? And I thought I'm going to try it again. Amazon has a very forgiving return policy if you're prompt and don't abuse it. And so I went ahead and ordered another one. Same thing. This time it was miscut on the sides. It was different. It wasn't just. I'm sorry. I'm getting all these. Everybody's starting to respond about the way orders came. This time it was like, I want to say miscut on the sides, whatever it was. It was just the same thing. It didn't. And Llewellyn, when they attempt to do a linen cardstock, what is it? The B tarot and then the Good Fortune tarot. Great. Nice shuffle. Cards still wear out. It's not great. It's not the best cardstock, but it shuffles really well. It's very smooth. And these two decks that I ordered, Witch's Garden of Witches. I can't remember the name of it. But anyways, it's really a cool deck. I like the deck. But I was so disappointed that the miscuts were so bad from Llewellyn. I mean, that just didn't make any sense to me. And I noted that in my second return to Amazon, saying this is so unusual for Llewellyn, and I hope you let them know that this is an issue with whoever's printing their cards right now. So hopefully that will get fixed. But now I'm sitting happy on my misprint, and I don't care. I don't use the deck that much, so it doesn't really bother me. And I know the difference, and I figure if one of them shows up, it shows up for a reason. Justice laid over the Wheel of Fortune is an interesting thought. Wheel of Fortune laid over Justice, also an interesting thought. So I don't mind either one of those cards popping up together with the wrong numbers. So there's that. So that's the end of that rant. Okay, next. I finally got the Autumn Season Tarot. I love the Winter Season Tarot. It's my favorite. I've used it all last winter, and I'm going to use it again this winter. In fact, I've pulled it out already, and I love it. This comes in a very nice box with a same kind. Oops. There. Oh, that's a extra card. Same, very similar guidebook to the Winter Tarot. The backs are very fun and fall, and they have the most gorgeous. It's not shiny. It's a matte edging. And I love this deck. It's very much in the style of the Winter Tarot. The only difference for me is that this one seems the artwork, photography / artwork, digital, whatever's going on with it, a little busier than the Winter Tarot, or maybe I'm just noticing it more. Well, of course, now I'm pulling all the calm cards, but, oh, this one just kills me. I love this card. Oh my God. Anyways, I just pulled all the calm cards, but like, I mean, of course, when you involve a lot of leaves and trees falling. I guess it's just going to be busy. Maybe that's why we all love the fall season. I don't know. I love the fall season because it's finally cooler. I get to finally turn my fireplace on, which, by the way, I don't know if I updated everybody on this. I'll just show you a few more. I finally got a guy out here who literally sat me down like I was in a psychiatrist's office and said, tell me about your fireplace. What's the problem? When did it start? When do you notice it? I mean, it was so funny. And I was so happy because I thought, this guy's digging in. He's not interested in the symptoms. He wants to, well, he is interested in the symptoms, but he's more interested in how they appear. Why do they appear? When do they appear? How random is it? Is it random, or does it just appear to be random? And it was so remarkable to speak with him and then have him dive in. Sorry, I keep reaching for this. Dive in to fixing it. And I think I've told this story, but I'm going to tell it again. I'll tell it quick. But he kept going, oh, here it is. And then he went, nope, nope. And he kept digging and digging and digging. And finally he says, okay, I got it. We got it. I totally understand what your problem is, and I can fix it. And he did. And I will tell you, since I'm going to knock on lucky wood when I say this, if I have any, that it has fired up every single time. There's something frustrating, when you want to turn on your fireplace and it doesn't turn on, or it just turns on randomly, or turns on and then turns itself off. So to have it actually turn on, every time I push the button, I'm like, is it gonna light? And then boop, it does. So I'm just so excited. Okay, so I've done 1, 2, 3 decks. Deck number 4. Thank you, Eric Mahl. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I love this deck. The Endless Tarot. I didn't give you authors and stuff for this. This is I'm sorry. Oh, that's a different one. Where am I going? I forgot to give you this. This is Daniel Norman, the Autumn Season Tarot. And I told you about that one. And this one is Sacred Witch Tarot is Weispel. I don't see any art and illustration by, oh God, I can't read it. Daria. Let me get closer to the light. Hold on. It looks like Dharma Irilova. Anyways, Weispel has it on their website, so you can check it out. Okay, so Endless Tarot. That goes with the Endless Oracle. Nice hardback thing. And this is by Eric. Am I right? Eric. I always call him Maul, but it might be May. I don't know. Anyways, it's a beautiful deck. It's very similar to it comes with a nice chunky guidebook. And I absolutely adore the image on the front, which turns out to be, I believe it's the World card. And I remember looking at it thinking, I bet that's either, what was I thinking? I can't remember, but whatever it was, I guessed it right. It's very much in the book, no edging. Doesn't need it, but it would be cool to edge it in like a navy. Put that on the list, maybe. But it's very in the similar vein as the Endless Oracle was. Lots of blues, beautiful, beautiful images. And what's totally cool about this, sorry, major itchy nails, is that when you take the cards, when you lay them out, no matter what cards they are, they line up. The tree lines line up. No matter what card you pull. These are just random and have been shuffled a million times. But isn't that amazing? The whole deck is like that. It's truly amazing. And it's really cool when you lay out a spread to see them. I mean, I usually leave some space between my cards, but it's really fun not to. And I love the little bit of, turn this around. I love the little bit of color he puts in. He's so, I love his aesthetic. Well, of course, Twilight, this to me is a Twilight style deck. I don't think of it as nighttime necessarily, although it could be. But I think of it as just, the sun has just gone down, and here you are. And, many things are dark and just kind of like this, like a black and white. And then every once in a while, a card will pop up like this. It just has that subtle little bit of a lighter blue or a bit of a tan. Or which one's this? This is the Two of Pentacles. I mean, oh my God. It's just striking and stunning. And his decks are just, this one is just, the Magician. Holy cats. Oh, I love this deck so much. I just love this deck. And here I am not sharing it with you because I want you to run out and get it. It's one of my favorite cards. Five of Cups. Anyways, so highly, I can't, like I said, I'm not here to sell you a deck, but if you're going back and forth about this one, if you own the Oracle, I remember buying the Oracle and wishing at that moment that it was a tarot instead of an Oracle. And when I found out that he was producing the tarot, I was like, yes, please. Pre-order, or whatever it takes, to get that deck. Okay, next deck. I'm not going to present the whole package, but it's showing up on YouTube a lot is the Mass Market Lubanko Tarot. Love. I should have brought the thing because I don't know. Do I have that? Sorry, I keep showing off my bad head. I don't. Look it up. Lubanko. Lubanko Tarot. It's on Amazon or any other probably tarot purchasing place to get the deets on this deck. I was fairly unfamiliar with it, and I'm usually not attracted to oh, here, I just show you the backs too. I love the backs, actually. They're cool. I'm not normally attracted to this kind of deck, but I bonded with this deck, oddly, really quickly. And I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure that out. But it's my go-to deck, has been recently for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, or whenever it came out, whenever I got it. It's just, it's interesting because it's a, in my opinion, it has the basics. If you're just looking for a basic RWS read, it has that. But if you want to go beyond, it's got that too. And it just, and for me, it doesn't let me, so far, it doesn't let me slip into mediocrity. It punches me a little bit. It says, hey, yeah, we all know what the Six of Pentacles is. Why don't you take a closer look? Why don't you take a closer look at the colors? Take a closer look at the placement of the hands. Take a closer look. Oh, that was so weird. I heard this sound, but it was something on the thing I've got on the TV. And then, let me get out of the way. And then I saw this, and I'm like, oh my God, is that, did my fireplace just, find another gas line? But no, it's a reflection. Anyways, so as I was saying, this deck just kind of, for me at least, forces me to dig a little deeper than I'm used to. I like to, I'm a pretty simple reader. I have always struggled with putting stories together. And I'm working on that again. I think I'm going to come back to reading more consistently like I did that little month challenge to myself. And I really enjoyed it because I got better. I think I got better at reading. I enjoyed what I was reading. I enjoyed doing it. I learned a lot. I learned more than I do just throwing some cards at home. I mean, it was kind of amazing. And I miss that. And I feel like I've lost a little bit of my presence with that. But the Lubanko kind of knocked me over the head and said, hey, Missy, you're not bad at this. Keep trying. Keep keep throwing, keep digging. It's okay. And so that's my little message from the Labanco. Did I already? No. Okay, that's the last one. So this one, I don't even know who told me this one either, but it's called the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg by Yuri Shakov. And this is a U.S. Games. And I will tell you, by the condition of the cellophane that I removed from the deck when it arrived, this is an old deck, and this deck was. See if I can find it. No, watch, it'll be 2024. 1992 is the copyright on the little white book. Now, that doesn't always tell you exactly when it was printed, but nonetheless. Yeah, I mean, it was very crinkly and crunchy, like it had been sitting in a pile forever. It's lovely U.S. game stock, at least this deck the deck that I received. This is these are the backs. As you can tell, there's a little bit of loss, but I would still call this more of a matte finish deck. But yes, garish borders. Yeah. But the images are kind of lovely. And I like and I will tell you, I like the fact that the font is bigger. I can read most tarot decks, but it's like when you just have to think about it a little harder than normal, it's annoying. And so I really like the fact that these are not, and I should get closer because these really are beautiful images, but they're smaller, they're on the smaller side. I don't have to worry about it because I know what the card is. And it really is a fun deck. And I was going to say I actually like borders in most cases. For instance, I had to work hard to get a copy of the Trip and Wait Tarot with its borders, and which I was able to find on eBay, I think, for a reasonable price. And the other one was getting a bordered copy of the Deviant Moon. Because while I like the borderless deck and the borderless edition, and I have that edition, I really appreciated the borders on the Deviant Moon, because that artwork, man, is out there, and it's nice to have that little bit of containment, in my opinion, created by those borders. So there's that. Okay, 2 more to go. Seasons of the Witch Tarot. I have probably 4 of the Season of the Witch oracles. I'm not a big oracle user, so I really said to myself, I think I'm not gonna buy the rest of the set, because I'm not that into sets, and it didn't bother me that I wouldn't have the rest. But then I saw this, and I'm a huge winter person, and I thought, well, fine, I'll get this one. It'll have 2/3 of the set. It astounds me that my job was, I careered in for 20 freaking years, and specifically in the last 12, was all about the details. But apparently I've lost that skill, or certainly don't put it in the front of when I'm deciphering things, because come to find out, when this got to me, it's not an oracle, it's a tarot. Talk about Yahoo! I was very excited. So this is it's called Seasons of the Witch Winter Tarot, A Journey Through Yule and Imbolc. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Lorraine Anderson, illustrated by Tijana Lukovic. And I don't know if these are people that have done stuff with the oracle decks. But so it's got this shiny blue edging, which is kind of cool. Let me get the backs are beautiful. Big full moon and candles. I love it. I will say I want to be honest. I love this deck so much. So much. But what they've done with the titles, every title has the word winter in it. And it's like, after about 3 cards, you kind of know that, It just seems redundant. I remember when So this is the Ace of Winter Swords. Here is the Initiate of Winter Cups, Page of Cups. There just was no need to put winter in every single title. It's got it. That just looked Christmas themed. This is not Christmas themed, although there are nods to it. Holiday, whatever you want to call it. But 2 of Winter Cups. What's this one say? Winter Death. So that's how they handle the majors. Winter Death. Winter, the Winter Hierophant. And I guess, okay, suddenly I'm realizing something. I love this Hierophant. I'm suddenly realizing that I know they're going to put out, maybe inspired by Daniel Norman, they're going to put out 4 of these. And they started with winter, and they're going to do fall, or winter, spring, summer, and fall next year, which I can't wait for. And I am on board. I will pre-order the moment they show up. And that now makes sense that they are doing that in case you want to mix and match those decks. If there are, well, you know, I mean, that would be kind of fun to take 4 seasons and kind of go through and say which of all these cards represent to me the most of what this card is, and to designate it as winter, summer, spring, or fall makes sense to me now. Okay, so I'll give them that. But it's a little distracting when you first get the deck. But I will tell you, the deck, the freaking box came on. It's the cardboard, but it's very sturdy, and it came with a really nice thick ribbon. So I like that. The nice hard box. Who is this? Rockpool? Yeah, Rockpool did a nice job. I think history tells me I haven't been a huge fan of their, oh, and it comes, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I do have it here. Huge, chunky, guidebook. And it's similar to the ones I've seen with the oracles. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah. Nice presentation, nice deck. Thank you, Rockpool. Could have lived without the shiny gilding. Would have preferred more of a matte. But I'm not going to complain that hard. And then, I just got this in the mail today. The Sublime Thresholds Tarot. And of course, typical, I ordered it on, or supported it on Kickstarter, and then saw it on Etsy, and I was like, oh, I have to have that. So now I have 2 copies, but that's okay. Because I think there are occasions when I really like a deck that I order a second just because I can't bear the thought of living without it. And yet I treat my decks so wonderfully. They are just in the best pastures they could ever be. But I worry about losing them here and there. Anyways, this deck, well, what I should, okay, first of all, it comes with a little guidebook in the box. It also comes, and I mean little, it's a little white book, but it comes with some interesting info and a spread in the back. But it also, you can also order a big chunky guidebook, which I have yet to really look at because, you know, I'm not a big guidebook person, but I probably will be in this one because it's so interesting to me. So these are the backs, lovely. The cardstock is lovely. Again, it's a very fine textured linen style. I don't think it's linen, but, and it's got this beautiful matte black, but God, they just, you know, super easy. It's kind of a chunky, well, oh, it's a chunky deck because it also has, did I mix those in? Probably did. It has a, or did I? Oh, I did. It's a chunky deck by itself. It also comes with about 10 or 12 Oracle style clarifiers, I guess you might call them. I haven't read the book, so I don't know what they call them. Anyways, this is old artwork that's being put onto tarot cards. But what's cool is they give you a one keyword and then one archetype. Now, I'm not familiar with any of the archetypes. I don't even know where they come from. But in the guidebook, they explain all of that. And so, so that little bit of stuff in the, a little bit of writing on the card is, it doesn't, I don't find it distracting at all. So what's this, the Ace of Swords? Is that gorgeous or what? And the key word on the Ace of Swords is horizons. I love it. Knight of Cups. Allure is the key word for this handsome fellow. I love this guy. I've just been through this deck briefly today. The King of Cups. Animist. God, he's gorgeous. Five of Wands. The key word is turmoil. What do they call it? Repurposed old art? I can't remember what people refer to this as, but this is outside of the, there was one called the old, is it the old fashioned or old time something tarot? Was so well done. And I remembered, I think I did a video on it that basically saying this is the best repurposed art deck I've ever seen. This one comes dang close. It's you know, sometimes you sit there just like they're very nice pieces of art, but they don't really relate to a traditional meaning of the tarot, in my opinion, as are most of the comments coming into my brain. But this one is quite different. It's very good. And I don't know if the guidebook goes into the specific artwork. I love the Seven of Cups. Or not. I haven't gotten that far. And this is just a classic painting by I don't know who, but I love it. And it's perfect for the Two of Wands. And the keyword is vastness. Perfect. Just perfect. Anyways, I am so excited to have this deck. And like I said, the cardstock is just the bomb. And I think this is, okay, I'll stop there. Check it out for sure. Check this out. It is called the Sublime. I forgot to give you the info. It is called the Sublime. Here, I'll put this up there. You can screenshot it. Sublime Thresholds Tarot. And the author is by, sorry, it's so dark here. Oh, that's his booklet. Does it have a copyrights? Urania Press. Text by Natasha Roland, first edition. They don't really, well, I guess the artwork is the credited to the artist, so they don't really say. Oh, well, it says about the author. Pardon me. Yeah, so Natasha Roland is that is considered the author. I'll put this up there too, in case you want to clear enough to screenshot. Can I get it straight? Sorry. Pardon me. Anyway, so yeah. And then the special cards are, I'm going to move this deck, keep them separate, are Initiatory, Splendor, Poetic, Ruins. Oh, that's beautiful. Waterways. Gorgeous. Temporal. Okay, I won't go through the rest. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is really pretty. Golden Age. I'll show this one for the final. Anyways, beautiful deck. Very excited to have it. Yeah. So to recap, tarot people, tarot creators, or people like Llewellyn or whoever, definitely have my number these days because, oh my God, it's crazy. But I need to stop because I have too many. And what's fun is that a lot of my decks that I have, that I collected early on, are decks that I did not have the best. I didn't have as good an understanding as I do now of the tarot, and so there were decks, for instance, the Metamuse tarot. I was reintroduced to that just the other day, and it was. I remember thinking, God, why didn't I like that deck? It seemed too busy. It seemed. I think I didn't understand it. You know, whatever. It was a collage deck, which is odd because there's certain collage decks that I got along with very quickly. But like was it the Rose Tarot? What was that one called? Anyways, yeah. So I was curious because when I saw this person putting this deck on YouTube, I was like, I have that deck, and I don't recall understanding it like I am now watching this video. So I went up and rummaged in my chest of drawers and found it and pulled it out and went through it. And I was like, God, this is a great deck. And so I think I spent a lot of time not getting the decks, but loving the artwork in them and loving the feeling they gave me. But the more I studied the tarot and the more I began to understand it and the more I began to read with it, suddenly these decks are making more sense to me. But they are in the long forgotten history of the decks that I've collected. So it's like Christmas every time I go up into that chest of drawers and dig around for a deck that I know I have. Like Johnny from Tarot Apprentice was just doing a spread on somebody, and I was like, "Ooh, I like that deck. What is that deck?" And once I finally saw the backs, because I recognize decks by the backs for some reason. It's easier to remember them than the cards. 78 cards or one back. It's just easy to remember the backs for me. And it was now I can't remember the name of it, but I want to call it the way something. Oh, I wish I could remember it, but it's more of a, it's a very, what do I call it? Minimalist deck, which I'm very attracted to. And I was like, I have that deck. I didn't recognize it for the cards, but once I saw the back, I was like, I think I have that deck. I still had to do some digging to find out which one it was and what they did. And that's the one thing I love about Amazon, at least same with Etsy, you can kind of dig through. But with Amazon, they kind of, you purchased this 2022 in May. And I'm like, so it's there somewhere. The good news is I know I do not get rid of any of my decks. Every one I've purchased, I have kept. For this particular reason, that at some point somebody's going to show up and be like, I want that deck. Because I really think as our abilities get better, as we begin to learn more about the tarot, decks that may have not resonated with us originally, except for maybe a piece of the artwork or a piece or whatever, or we like the color of the edging, whatever it was. We like the box, we like the guidebook, the cards, you come back to them and all of a sudden they're like a brand new, they're like, you open them up and you're like, oh, and they're like, well, thank you, finally, took you long enough. And that was kind of what I experienced with the Metamuse. It was kind of like, she was like, well, thank you for coming back, finally, only took you a year and a half. So it's really curious to me how that kind of stuff works. Anyways, that's my 8 decks that I'm using right now and loving. And like I said, I will seriously put together, but it might take a couple of videos to put it together, or maybe just one. Maybe I just need to organize my thoughts and do one video on my trip, because it was so incredibly great. And I would like to share that adventure with you all. So anyways, thanks for stopping by, as always. After this long time, if you're still sticking with me, I appreciate it so very much. And I hope you're all having a great fall. And life is good. And, go Mariners. Unless you're a Blue Jays fan. In which case you can hate me and you can unfollow me. Please don't. Okay, thank you so much again for stopping by. See you later. Star Flurry out.